whatever you wind up doing is exactly what you should be doing.
And I have not behaved one single day of my life. Not one day of my life have I behaved, and I am fine.
I need your help. I can't tell you what it is. You can never ask me about it later, and we're going to hurt some people.
Whose car are we going to take?
And thank you for joining us on the Nikki Maduro Show. I am here. I slept like crap last night.
Oh no! What happened?
I have been trying to fill out my sleep diary. I've not tried. I've been doing it. I have a blank one here. And remember, you guys, I still put it in the show notes. You can get your free tracker. I think Natalie, a bunch of you are doing it. So here's the blank one. This is what it looks like. It's absolutely free. The link is in the show notes. I don't know what it is. I could not, and I've been trying to do my best. I've been putting in the work, Kim. I've been turning off my phone. I've been dimming my phone even like earlier than that. I could not shut my brain off yesterday. My daughter, I told you guys yesterday, wasn't feeling too hot. So yesterday was kind of like trying to get her to feel better and yet still go to some of the things that she's supposed to go to. And I think it just all got in my head and I was overthinking things. And you're supposed to fill out the diary, Ricky. You do it at night to kind of jot things down, wake up in the morning to jot things down. I told you guys this before. I keep it in the bathroom because I take it with me, when I'm washing my face and brushing my teeth, and then it's there in the morning when I wake up, whatever keeps you doing it. But you guys get your free sleep tracker because I'm committed to doing that. But yeah, I slept terribly. And Kim, you're still dealing with some sort of illness around your house.
Yeah, Jacob's home for a second day.
I'm so sorry about that.
And I just have this weird, like deep, rumbly kind of, it sounds like, I don't want to say it sounds like croupy, but it sounds like a barking seal.
Is it a whooping cough?
Yeah, it kind of sounds like that.
Oh, shoot.
But you know what's weird is you would expect this to be accompanied by like copious amounts of snot and coughing up stuff. And that's not happening. So I don't know what's going on.
Well,
I think today I'm going to COVID test.
Yeah. I mean, it sucks, but anytime somebody is sick that we instantly think, oh, it must be COVID, but just get it out of the way. It could be a whooping cough. It could be just a cold. It could be a deep chest cold. These things happen before COVID. Like people just be like, I have a really bad cough, and nobody would think twice about it. But
I had the vaccine for COVID. I had the vaccine for the flu.
Right.
I even had the updated vaccine was it whooping cough?
Whooping cough, yeah.
Yeah, I had because we have a baby coming into the family.
Oh, who's having a baby?
My cousin's having a baby, and the doctor said if anybody wants to hold this baby,
and you're like, I want to hold
get
that
the
baby.
updated shot. I'm like, I'll get all the updated shots.
Oh, good.
But the weird thing is it feels like whatever's happening to me is only happening halfway because of maybe some vaccine.
Hey,
that's what it feels like, but we'll see.
Right. And that could happen as well. I know instantly, Karen, I didn't want to say it because I'm sure it's not that, but there's measles going around Florida. She's saying it's in Oahu. Yeah, because
I've been vaccinated
idiots aren't
for
vaccinated.
measles.
Yeah, so have I. I mean, if you're not vaccinated for measles and there's no health reason for it, get your friggin' vaccination.
How unlikely would that be?
Oh, God, no, I know exactly. You have
because you can still get things even though you're vaccinated,
That's
but that would be a
true.
rare one, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I would just, take the test to get it out of your mind that it's not one thing, and then just accept that, it's a cold, and then do some of the things like steam baths or showers, breathing machines. Like I have a breathe what do you call it? Like the breathing machines that you can do for kids. I had got one years and years and years ago because Dylan just when he was a baby, he just had a lot of breathing issues. And so they give you one. If your kid has enough, your insurance sends you home with one. And so I've always had it. I have to dig it out, obviously, because it's been a long time. But, something like that could help. And then sometimes you just gotta, drink some tea, watch some daytime TV and take a sick day. You know what I mean? Like vaporizer. Yeah,
Well,
something
lucky
to
for
help you.
me, my job is not
You don't have to go
ultra
anywhere.
physical, like digging ditches. So you guys
That's
just have to
very
put up
true.
with my
Sex
Betty Davis
gas
voice for a couple days.
I think everybody doesn't mind that. Absolutely. I think everybody loves that. Liz asks a question. Nikki, do you include breathing exercises to help you relax? I do, actually. And you know what I also try to do? But again, this is my struggle, you guys, when I'm trying to sleep. It's I try to do the whole relax your toes and then relax your foot, and I try to go all the way up my body.
Oh
my
my God.
mind, though, it's as if like there's
Okay.
a car revving in my brain as the
If-
rest of my body is just trying to
If your
relax.
mind is counting to 5
Ah.
in and counting to 5
Yeah.
out, then your mind has to focus on the counting and can't think about all the other stuff on your to-do list.
You would think, Kim.
And so your mind is like 1 in, 2,
One,
3,
yeah.
4, 5 out, 2, 3, 4.
And then their
5.
twin is like screaming,
Well, you
count, relax.
But
Are you
can't
relaxing?
But
Are
if
you
you're
relaxing?
actually focused on counting, you can't possibly focus
Right.
on anything
Well, that's
else.
the hard part of meditation. I
And
mean,
then you
that's
just
what
don't
it is.
stop until you
Right.
fall asleep.
Exactly. But again, it's that push and pull of yes, focusing and then being distracted. And
God,
then
we need to have a
focusing and then-
sleepover. I would
know.
just come on now.
You're the best. Like, yeah, Kim can fall asleep anywhere. But you stay up hella late. You know what I
do.
mean? Like,
I probably don't get enough sleep. Yeah.
I don't stay up that late.
But if I went to sleep at 6 o'clock, I would
Well,
still
I'm not going-
sleep
that's- yeah.
the entire amount of time until the very last moment I could get up. Yeah.
Well, anyways, I my daily or my nightly sleep diary entry last night was not a good one. But I'm working on it, people. And if you want to work with it with me, again, just get the sleep tracker. And honestly, email me. And Lori, thank you for sending me the email with some other sleep advice. I will read it. I'll watch the video. It's actually a video that you send me. So do that as well. And again, if you want to follow me on my social media, I also have a Substack that I'm going to start writing into. Get Some Z's is the social media platform as well, if you want to do that as well. Okay.
I still think it's like getting pregnant. You know how they say some people the more you stress out about it, the more you think about it, like that's why if you just let go and don't worry, then boom, pregnant. Right?
Have we met though? I have a hard time letting crap go. I mean, it's kind of in my personality.
But this is
gotta
what I
think
mean.
different.
If you don't worry about it, if you don't stress about it, then all of a sudden sleep comes. But if you're
Obviously,
wigging out about it,
obviously,
you're like,
yes.
oh my God, I can't sleep.
That
I
is
can't sleep. I can't
obviously
sleep.
the answer, Kim.
Then you're
but
going to lose your mind.
my personality just doesn't align as easily as
Jesus.
just don't worry about it. I'm trying, my friend. I am trying. And yes, Dave, I've been trying to meditate, and I feel like it's a journey. It takes months of practice, but if you stick with it, you could train yourself to almost instantly
Yes.
shut off your brain. Yeah.
Agreed.
I mean, for me, meditation, the easiest I try to do it actually during the day is the easiest for me. After this show, after I get all my stuff pulled and before I go to be mom and kid and taxi cab driver, that is my moment. And it's the easiest part of my day because one thing's over, one thing hasn't begun. And so I can just relax. The problem is at night, right? It's like, okay, what do I have to do tomorrow? I have this for the kids. I have this for the show. What am I going to, all of these things just start rolling around. And unfortunately, it usually happens right before bed. So I am working on it, you guys. I'm trying my best. Janet says, I listen to audiobooks that I've listened to a bunch of times. So my mind already knows the story and it's just noise. Ooh, I don't know if I could do that. Even if I know the story, I'd be like looking forward to the part that like I loved. And so that might be a little hard for me.
Lynn does the same thing.
Yeah.
Calming voice, usually asleep within 10 minutes. Turn on the
Yeah.
same story every night. Boom.
There's this app called Calm that I subscribed to for a while. And they also had kind of the stories.
That's
I
what
wanna-
Shannon says. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Matthew McConaughey is why I signed up for it. I think he does one. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's why I probably downloaded the app. But yeah, I'm trying. That's why I'm focused on sleep. That's why I'm trying to like go on this journey is I really need to improve my sleep because again, especially for me, if I don't get a good night's sleep, which I didn't last night, it impacts every part of my life. Like
Mm-hmm.
not only my focus and all those physical things, but just my attitude and shortness and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So, it's just
Sometimes
one
you
of
can
those
find
things.
yourself at the end of the day being a royal beat. in your
Exactly.
clothes.
Like I'm going to go in the
You're like,
room.
"Oh,
Don't bother me. I'm done."
That
and
that
it's
was a
nobody's
full-on
fault.
lack of patience on my part. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm a total C word. Thank
Mhm.
you. Okay. All right. Well, we have a fun show coming up. We're going to, of course, start off with, I don't know if you guys saw this, and it was making the rounds yesterday. I'm sure you have. It's the picture that teases this show. Biden made quite the announcement in an ice cream shop. Now, I don't think that it's fair that people are criticizing the fact that he made the announcement inside an ice cream shop, because that just happens to be the place where he was asked the friggin' question. So here's a little bit of a news report from NBC, and it'll include Biden's announcement.
Savannah, good morning. These are the most optimistic words we've heard from any world leader about the prospect of getting a deal to pause the fighting in Gaza, get humanitarian aid in, and get at least some of those hostages out. This is what the president said.
My national security advisor tells me that we're close. We're close. We're not done yet. And my hope is by next Monday, we'll have a ceasefire.
I mean, I'm just going to pause right there. Holding the ice cream cone and making that announcement, everyone was just having a friggin' field day with it. I mean, he was like the longer version, he's about to bite into the ice cream cone. And I don't know if you can see pure joy like President Biden about to eat ice cream. Like he loves ice cream. You can tell he's loved it for all his 80 plus years of life. Let's listen to just a little bit more of this news report.
Now, both Israel and Hamas say there are still significant gaps between them, and so something is going to have to give if the president's goal of a deal by next week is going to be reached. The focus of the negotiations right now is on a proposal from the CIA director that would free around 40 Israeli hostages, including women, in exchange for around 100 Palestinian prisoners being held in Israeli jails. The president also said Israel has committed to suspending military activity inside Gaza during the Islamic holy month of Ramadan. I spoke to an Israeli official this morning. He says that commitment only holds if a deal does come together. Savannah.
So, yeah, I mean, I think that this is good news. I hope that it actually happens. But again, today is the Michigan primary. A lot of people are thinking about kind of doing a protest vote against the president, even though everyone obviously believes that Biden will get the Democratic support in Michigan. There's a large Arab American community in Michigan, and they're basically, I think one of the quote unquote nicknames for Joe is Genocide Joe. They want him
Oh my
to
God,
be,
really?
yes, absolutely. If you Google that, and again, we do obviously support with arms and stuff to Israel.
Do people think it would be any different under Trump?
No, absolutely not. And that's the whole thing. It's like, but Biden's president, and I'm sorry, and that will always be true. Whoever is in the White House is where the buck stops. And so we'll have to see. Fingers crossed that it holds, because again, it's just it's a horrifying situation in Gaza, and it does have political ramifications. But on the other side, no, it would not be any different with Trump. Now Biden was, I believe, in that ice cream shop. I want to say it was because of Seth Meyers, or Seth Meyers might have been there. I don't know, because he was on Seth Meyers last night. There was this opinion op-ed saying Biden is not a TV personality like Donald Trump. So if you're going to bring him on these nighttime shows or whatever, he is not going to be, he's not even like Obama, right? I mean, even Obama, it's just more charismatic on television. It just is. I think Joe can be funny. Biden can be funny, but he was being asked about Donald Trump, and Trump's, again, the fact that people are okay with Trump even saying this word, and it's not, oh my God, hair on fire. Are you freaking kidding me? The one day dictator. The first day I'm president, I'm going to be a dictator. And then the rest of the time I'm going to be a president is insane.
It's just outrageous what he's talking about.
He talked about how he wants to be a dictator on day one, but only day one. You are someone who has dealt with dictators over the years. It does seem as though democracy, in vague terms somehow, is not easy for us to grasp. Having dealt with dictators, what do you see in a world where democracy is actually at risk in a way it might be in this election?
The first thing they do what dictators do, is they disregard whatever the rule of the law is. They just disregard it.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the guy who says he thinks he can change the Constitution and ignore it. Just ignore portions of the Constitution. Here's the guy who talks about retribution.
Yep.
Here's the guy. Look, you have the guys, the thousands of people who stormed the Capitol. They're insurrectionists. 2 cops died. Other people were badly hurt. And what did he say? They got convicted or they pled guilty. And he said, they're patriots? God, patriots? And he says he's going to forgive them all. Every one of them is going to be released. That's what happens in Eastern European countries. That's not what happens in America. And the idea that he thinks he can do that, the idea he talks about things like, for example, the idea that he said the Congress wants to pass an overwhelmingly a border provision that would allow us to control the border. First bill ever introduced called for that. And here he's saying, no, don't do that because that'll help Biden.
Yep.
Help Biden. It's not about Biden. It's about the United States of America. And look, I don't want to get started.
We already got started. I mean, and right there, like, I don't know, man. It's just Biden. He was doing okay. It was getting a little deep, right, for nighttime Seth Meyers television. It wasn't quote unquote funny, but it's serious, damn it. Like, he has to say these things to people because you never know if somebody's going to be listening. Now, Gail, I love it. I will vote solid blue until the MAGA mafia is gone. I am a Republican. I'm not MAGA. I hear you. We were talking yesterday, like, let's have policy discussions, but how do you have a policy discussion when, again, like Biden mentioned, that border bill, and then Trump, their dear leader, says, nah, I know that this is going to make the biggest change at the border than we've seen in decades, but we can't give Biden the win. God, it's just, the hypocrisy is so thick with MAGA. It's crazy. Yeah, Sandy, how can anyone say Biden is slow or too old? He sounded clear-headed and smart to me. Exactly. It's they have to criticize Trump. They have to criticize Biden about something, and I think that he really does make a good point exactly about what Trump has said out loud he wants to do, and that's the problem. Is he's not hiding it. It's not as if, and remember during Trump's first term, everyone was trying to explain what Trump meant. Stop explaining what Trump means. Trump says what he means. He says it very, very clearly. This is what I mean. This is what I want to do. And he's done it. I mean, look at what he did with the U.S. Supreme Court. Look at Roe v. Wade. Now, thankfully, Trump is saying that he's against the ruling by the Alabama Supreme Court regarding IVF. I was watching a news report this morning. There's a Bay Area woman who's trying to get her last embryo out of one of those facilities in Alabama. She's not going to be able to possibly get it out. That's crazy. Think about that.
She was ready to have it put in.
Yeah. And now
she was preparing, and then now that the clinic called and said, sorry, can't.
Mm-hmm.
So what is she going to do? Where does she get it transferred?
Now, let me ask you this question.
Oh, God.
If Alabama won't give this woman back her embryos, are they kidnapping her child? I'd be like, you're holding my child hostage. According to you, that's my child.
They have to give it to her.
Right. So you have to give it to me in a state in which it can still be quote unquote alive. And so transfer it. That's what I would say. I mean, I feel like she has, under their own ridiculous way of thinking about this whole entire thing.
I mean, it's her property, technically.
It's her child. You have my child. You yourself is calling it Alabama Supreme Court. You are calling it my child. So if that's my child, I want my child back. I
was reading about the story about Louisiana. I don't know if you've read this, but they have had a problem with IVF. And according to what I was reading, one of the fertility specialists in that state said, all right, what do you have a problem with? Let's talk about where do you have the problem? And the lawmaker said, well, our problem was with the discarding of embryos. And so he said, all right, we won't discard embryos in the state of Louisiana. We'll say, either you have to have it implanted or you have to give it to someone else. And if your choice was to discard it, then we'll have to ship it out of state where they can discard it. And he said it's a complete pain in the butt. and it's all a matter of semantics. But it seemed to appease those who were upset about the discarding of embryos. So fine.
It's crazy.
Ship all of the ones you want to discard to California and say farewell.
But it's again, it's an unnecessary, and it's like you mentioned, it's semantics. It's so insane that we can't be intellectual about this. Like, let's think about this. These are cells. These are not children. And I know I was kind of making a joke, but it's true. If you're going to call it a child, then keep it in that state. If it's a child, then, you're freezing my child. It's crazy. It's not the same thing. And everybody knows that. Alabama's Supreme Court knows that. But they're going and falling on their sword for this issue in the most back-assward way they could. If you want to protect children, protect the living, breathing, going to school, needing food, needing housing children. Cells? That's the easiest child to give a crap about, right? I will make court cases about this clump of cells, and I will do all of this. But once that child's born, and God forbid that child's a girl, then all their rights are freaking taken away. They are not as important as anything else. And it's just insane. And it's not fair. And it's not who we are. And it's insane that it's gotten to this point. But that's where we are. That's where we are. And so we'll see what happens. But again, I am thankful. And if I have to be thankful for anything for Trump, I'm thankful that he came out against that IVF ruling, because people and women and families are going to be hurt by it. And if he can use his stupid ass influence in this way, then that's a good thing. And I will give that to him. Absolutely. I don't think that he truly is doing it for altruistic reasons. I think that he's doing it because, one, I think that there is a part of him who thinks it's absolute BS. And two, politically, it makes sense. He knows America's like, wait, what, Alabama? And again, it's friggin' Alabama. And if they could ever live up to a stereotype being stupid, it's this ruling. Hands down. And this is their damn Supreme Court. They're supposed to be like the smartest of all Alabamas. And that just goes to show you how smart they truly are.
I was reading an article about what happened in South Carolina with the primary of Nikki Haley, right? How she loses to Trump by 20 points. But the polls thought she was going to lose by 30, 35 points, right? And so what it showed is that Trump doesn't have as much support as people thought.
Right.
And what it shows is that there's a lot more Republicans who don't like him than realized. That gives me hope, because even if they're voting for Nikki Haley, I feel like there's a lot more people in the world that are reasonable. And even if we disagree on the fundamental politics of stuff, at least if you're a reasonable person, and you're not outlandish, crazy, standing at a Trump rally in gold sneakers, drooling at the mouth, that kind of thing, then I can at least talk to you and we can have a discussion about it. And we may not even end up at the same place, but you're not a cray-cray, right?
You're not Trump. Yes, exactly.
And so it gives me a little bit of hope that maybe there's not as much support for him as hoped, and so maybe there's a lot more reasonable people than we thought.
Well, you also have to remember, Kim, it's the primary, and while we understand the importance of voting in the primary, right? I mean, this is where you decide who runs in the general. People, I think, by and large, dismiss the primary. There was an interview I was watching on CNN, and one of the anchors or reporters was interviewing a bunch of possible voters, and this was in South Carolina. And before the primary, and they were saying, who are you going to vote for, blah, blah, blah. And they interviewed this one guy, and he was, he's one of those people where you put your hand over your eyes and you're like, thank God you're not voting in the primary because you're not educated. And he's like, I'm not going to vote in the primary. And he was so adamant about it. And he's like, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter me voting in the primary because I'm not going to like who I like in the general. But that's the point. That's why you vote in the primary, is so you have a chance of seeing people in it that you actually agree with. But people just throw it away and be like, oh, it's just going to be this person and this person, and ignoring the role they have in choosing. If you keep saying it's the lesser of two evils and you never voted in the primary, you're part of the problem. But the primary draws out the most political of voters, the most staunch Republicans and the most staunch Democrats who are really engaged in the system. And so there is hope in the general that all the other people are like, oh, yeah, I'm not voting for Trump. He has all these legal problems and who knows if he's even going to prison. And so, yes, there's hope there. The fact that Donald Trump didn't win by a landslide. And you might think it's a landslide, but not. Like Kim mentioned, the number of people who voted for Nikki Haley, the number of people who didn't vote at all, and then, of course, the people that are Democrats. So it's not looking good for Trump, but never underestimate idiocracy.
20 points isn't nothing, right? But look at that state.
Yeah.
That state is real red. Like that state, if any state is going to trump out, that would be the state.
Yep.
And so that they only, chose him by 20% is significant.
Yeah, exactly. And so fingers crossed, obviously, fingers crossed that, look, I was really hoping, I really, 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 really was hoping that we would never have to deal with Trump again. I remember the night before the election between Biden and Trump. And I remember just laying in bed, again, mind can't turn off, and just praying, literally praying. I'm like, please. I was like, please, we can't have him back in office. There's so many terrible things. And that was even before the insurrection, of course. So we saw how bad it could have gone. Can you imagine? And I just remember being so relieved when Biden won. I was so relieved at the inauguration.
Oh God, yeah.
And then we still had to deal with this.
We had a street party.
Yeah, I mean,
do you know how joyful it was? Like, thank God that the ding dong, the witch is dead.
And then look, he's still hanging on.
Apparently, we didn't hit him with the house hard enough.
Well, no, and it's because we kept talking about him.
I don't mean physical harm to anybody.
No. And again, I don't mean death on anyone. I just wish Trump would go away. I just wish that we never had to deal with him. I wish that he was made a laughing stock. I wish he would just, sulk off into the corner. But because of MAGA and because of people hate to be sore losers, right? He won't go away. And so hopefully this will be it. I mean, I don't know how many times you have to lose the popular vote before you're just not president anymore. But, we'll have to see. And again, there's so many different issues that play into the upcoming general election, right? The truth, how the election is run, how many people are going to be watching this election, Kim? I mean, again, we talked about this a bit yesterday, but that Supreme Court hearing on social media, how much social media, remember the Cambridge Analytica scandal we were talking about yesterday with the misinformation and how easy it was for Russia to buy very cheap ads on social media and then spew them out to people and create these echo chambers where people literally stormed the Capitol because of the information that they were being fed about so many things, including the election. Let me just play this real quickly and then we'll do some headlines and something else. But this is the takeaways from yesterday's Supreme Court ruling. Again, they're looking at social media and what kind of content should be allowed.
They try to do some content moderation, but they can't be liable. Some people just want to get rid of 230, which would really end a lot of social media sites. Now, today, Justice Amy Coney Barrett called Section 230 a landmine. What's your take on it? You think you are, and the social media companies, you're in favor of Section 230?
Section 230 is a critical cornerstone to how websites moderate content. It gives them the flexibility to implement different policies and remove content and take action without the risk that those decisions will lead to liability. But this case here, this is a First Amendment case. It's about whether websites should have that discretion at all. And when Florida and Texas come along and say you have to disseminate all viewpoints, well, what does that mean? God bless America and death to America are both viewpoints. Websites don't want to treat that kind of content equally. And their users don't want that. And their advertisers don't want that. In fact, I would have thought Florida and Texas don't want that either. But today in argument, I heard Texas tell the highest court in this land that websites under its law would have to treat pro-Al-Qaeda content the same way as anti-terrorist content. And frankly, that's madness.
So, again, we're going to see what the U.S. Supreme Court rules. We're going to see what the Supreme Court rules on this, on Trump's immunity claim. I mean, there's so many cases before this conservative Supreme Court that I understand people's worry. I really, really do. The only thing I hold out hope for, and it is such the Pollyanna-ish in me, and it is, and I'm often proven wrong, is that because these justices are not beholden to Trump anymore, I mean, they're Supreme Court justices, that they really will look at the law and hopefully reason will rule the day. And I keep my fingers crossed. I don't know if it's going to happen. I was disappointed with Roe, obviously. But we'll have to see how this plays out. But these are I'm tired. Have you ever seen that meme? I'm tired of living in extraordinary times, right? I'm tired of living in historic moments. Can we friggin' go back to some sort of calm, sane reality? Unfortunately, it doesn't seem to be the case. Maybe after this election. I mean, hopefully Trump will go away. Hopefully Biden and Kamala Harris will be, in the White House and stay in the White House. But it's just an insane time that we're living in. All right, let's do some headlines when we come back. You know the saying, let them eat cake. Well, Kellogg's CEO is saying, let them just eat cereal. I mean, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. He is promoting, obviously, cereal as an alternative to all those high grocery prices that we're paying right now. But does he have a point? Have we become a bit spoiled in how and what we eat? Should things like steak be expensive given the environmental and all this other aspect, and how we just gotten used to being able to eat out as much as we want to, go to the grocery store and have very, very cheap food and ignore the cost of all of these things? Or is the Kellogg CEO a bit tone deaf? We have some other food stories, from pizza to Wendy's going Uber. That's all coming up. Also, by the way, click the thumbs up button. Show your support for the show. If you'd like to see us every day on the Nikki Maduro Show, please, we need your support to continue being here. The super chat, of course, is live as well. Look for the $ under the live chat box. You could throw us a super thanks, a super comment, a super sticker, and all of that all adds up to keep the show going. And then, of course, sign up to be an official Madorable. TheNikkiMaduroShow.com, TheNikkiMaduroShow.com. Our Patreon link is there. Also, PayPal we accept. Just go to PayPal.com and put in the email, TheNikkiMaduroShow@gmail.com. We can't do it without the crowd support, and so please support if you can. We appreciate it. All right, let's do some headlines with Kim.
Now, from around the world to up your street, the Nikki Maduro Show presents News Czar Kim McAllister.
Oh, good morning to you. And yes, it is primary day in the fine state of Michigan, the state from which my husband hails, and most of his family are now headed to the polls.
All right.
We'll see what they do in Michigan. I have faith. It is happening in Michigan today. The primary day comes after former President Trump easily defeated Nikki Haley in her home state of South Carolina, essentially locking up the Republican nomination for president. While Trump is expected to win in Michigan, Haley has vowed to stay in the race, claiming most Americans disapprove of both Trump and of President Biden.
I mean, I respect it. Of course, I want her to stay in the race. I want her to stay in the race just to kind of stick it to Trump, but we'll see. We'll see.
Another hearing is set for today in Georgia in connection with the relationship between the Fulton County DA and the special prosecutor for former President Trump's election interference case. A former law partner for prosecutor Nathan Wade is being compelled to testify about when his romantic relationship with DA Fonnie Willis started. Defendants are trying to disqualify Willis from the case that is involved in investigating actions in Georgia's presidential election 4 years ago. It's one of these things, Nikki, where you think all it would take was the tape. I need you to find me 11,780 votes. Do we not have the evidence? I mean, really? Does all this other extraneous stuff about relationships matter? I mean, if that's like the one thing, remember when that audio came out, that phone call came out?
Exactly.
And you're just, your mouth dropped to the floor and you thought, well, if that doesn't tell all,
It doesn't
What
matter to them.
does?
It doesn't matter to them. It doesn't. It's
What is
okay that he
happening?
cheats. It's okay that he cheats because they believe he won. It's delusion. It's a delusion that he has kind of perpetrated on all of his supporters. It's insane. It's absolutely insane.
I mean, if you have to cheat, you're the biggest loser there ever was.
Exactly. And I always maintain this for people that still believe that the Democratic Party in some way, shape, or form stole this election from Donald Trump. Why would we steal it just for the presidency, but not have complete control? That is moronic. Okay. I mean, if you have that much
it would be
control,
obvious, Nikki. It would be obvious.
it's so stupid. It's so dumb. It doesn't make any
I mean,
sense.
we don't want it to be too obvious.
Oh,
You want
Lord.
to, cheat, but not really cheat, right?
Exactly.
I don't know. I mean, yes, you're completely right. It makes no sense to me at all.
It was Kaine. It was Tim Kaine, by the way. I don't know why people keep asking that. Hillary's VP choice was Tim Kaine. Remember? Nobody remembers. Anyways, go ahead. Sorry.
No. Have you ever seen a billy club? The only time I've ever seen a billy club is either in an old movie or there was one hanging on a wall at the local Irish pub
it's the
in
stick.
Petaluma.
Yeah.
It's a stick used to beat people,
Right.
right? Okay. Well, a California Attorney General, Rob Bonta, is appealing a district court ruling that overturns the state's prohibition on the manufacture, import, selling, or possessing of a billy club. Did you know you can't have that in California?
I did not know that. Well, I
Can't
mean,
have
I
it.
try not to come into contact with billy clubs no matter
Right.
where I am, but yeah, I did not know that.
The ruling means civilians can carry billy clubs, can now carry billy clubs in public. Walk down your street with that and go swinging it around and go, mm-hmm. Former Sacramento County Sheriff Scott Jones says Bonta's appeal is much ado about nothing. He says there are so many things that are easy to purchase online and legal for civilians to carry. Focusing on billy clubs seems kind of unnecessary to him.
Well, I mean, he does kind of have a point, but
Mhm.
I think that if you've ever seen somebody beat with one, you understand why, right? Exactly. So, whatever. Okay.
I mean, I guess if you have people walking around with guns, a billy club seems like, really, you're going to worry about billy clubs when,
Exactly.
there's
all sorts of things,
like that's where you draw the line? Okay.
Exactly.
Hey, a lot of people are signing up to become a CHP officer. Yeah. California Highway Patrol seeing a surge in job applications, up 94% in the last month compared to 2 years ago. That's the highest monthly number in 7 years.
Wow.
Governor Gavin Newsom says the CHP isn't just one of the largest law enforcement agencies in the state, it's also the best, delivering unparalleled safety, service, and security to everyone. That's like a little CHP commercial from Governor Newsom.
Look
The
at that.
CHP is conducting an online hiring seminar tonight at 6:30 to discuss their pay, benefits, and what to expect during the training.
Phineas says the CHP makes over $100,000 a year. Do you think that's enough?
Considering that you pull somebody over and you walk up to their car and you have no idea whether they're going
Not
to
enough.
blast through the window, I don't know.
CHP. I mean, it's not, the Alabama Highway Patrol, which is cheaper to live in Alabama, is my point. Not that the risk isn't the same.
Yeah.
$100,000 a year ain't crap in California. I am sorry. If you make $100,000 a year and you're single, especially,
Mhm.
and you're living on your own and you have to pay rent or a mortgage, and if you have kids, no. $100,000 does not go far enough in California. I'm
And
sorry.
they're risking their lives, so.
Exactly, Ricky. $100,000 to wear a target on your body? Nah.
Right. Yeah.
Nah.
That's exactly right.
Exactly.
I mean, and that in this day and age, that's kind of what it is, right?
Right. I mean, not even in this day and age, you're law enforcement. I mean, for people that want to evade the law, commit crimes, and you have to stop them, they will often do whatever they have to get out of trouble. And so that puts you at risk. They should be paying people a living wage. If you are under the umbrella of public safety, and you know how I include teachers in that, you should make a living wage. We need you in our society. Like, I don't know. It's just
And
crazy.
it's not like it's different than being a San Francisco police officer
Right.
in that San Francisco police have to deal with homeless and, crime in the Tenderloin and all this stuff. And and in that way, maybe it's a little different, but they still have to deal with the homeless people under the shelters, and they still have to deal with the crime, and they get sent to the Tenderloin to help police. They need to be trained in everything.
Yep, exactly.
So I don't know. I think it's seen often as. Do you think it's seen as an elite?
What?
If like an elite police force in California,
The CHP?
like, oh, you're CHP.
You just stay on the highway. I don't know.
You think so? I don't know.
No, I don't know. I don't think so. I think that they're all looked at the same. In all
Mm.
honesty, I mean, I think that some areas jobs are harder. Just like we keep talking about teachers. I think working in certain school districts is way harder than working in other school districts.
Mhm.
Not that educating is easier, but the outside influences, right? Distractions, problems are different. So I don't know if it, in my opinion, I don't look at the CHP any differently than any other kind of police officer, but maybe other people do.
Guess what?
What?
City of San Jose
Mm-hmm.
is named among the best places to live for quality of life.
I love it. It's my hometown. It's too damn expensive, but I do love it. I love my hometown.
San Jose ranks 4th out of 25 from U.S. News and World Report. What's also known as the capital of Silicon Valley is described as a diverse area with an innovative spirit.
Yeah.
The listing points out its sprawling metro area, suburban neighborhoods, and large tech campuses. It also highlights quirky attractions like larger-than-life Monopoly boards. Have you seen that?
Yes, it's been around forever. I just love when they mention crap like that. Like, okay.
It all goes to your quality of life, apparently.
I don't like the sprawl. I really don't. It was interesting. I have a lot of friends that live kind of in Morgan Hill, Gilroy area. A lot of people from San Jose kind of moved south. And now Morgan Hill is getting really bustling. And there was one of my friends had put up a post about how pissed they were about this new housing development in Morgan Hill. And I was trying to tell them, I'm like, either you guys approve the buildings or the builder's remedy is going to kick in. It's not every town, every city across California has to come up with a housing plan. And I get it, but San Jose used to be, fruit trees and vineyards. And now look at it. So for people saying, oh, I wanted to keep it small, good freaking luck. You live in arguably the best state in the union. It's gorgeous out here. People want to live in California. There is a lot of innovation. And so that means people are going to continue to come. They're going to be attracted to where the jobs are. If you want them to move to other areas, entice business over there. And it's just going to happen. People that are saying, we don't have water, there's no room, tough cookies. It's going to happen. So you better start accepting it now and understand that traffic is going to get worse, but you live in one of the most beautiful places in the United States.
So beautiful.
Sorry.
Here we go with, and I don't know if you want me not to do this story or not. What do you think?
Oh, the Wendy's thing. Yeah, let's do it. We can do it right now.
Okay.
That's fine.
So Wendy's is testing surge pricing, which is very similar to the way Uber prices its rides, right? Known as dynamic testing, the practice changes the prices of items throughout the day. In an earnings call, the fast food company says it will begin testing this in 2025. The only way I've been affected by surge pricing is parking in San Francisco. They had this thing where if you park at the meter in a non-peak time, it was one price. But then when everybody was trying to park, the price of parking surged. And then it was like, this huge for a couple hours, it would be really expensive. And then it would go back down.
Yeah.
So if everybody's trying to get what do they serve at Wendy's? Bacon, double, whatnot?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Their burger. Their Frosties, their fries, whatever, their chili.
There you go, Frosty. If everyone's trying to get a Frosty at once, the price, I know this because in the summer I buy them. There's teeny tiny little Frosties. They're like maybe, 4 bites.
Okay.
They're really small. And it's a way for me to give my kids a Frosty, but not give my kids a full-on Frosty.
Exactly.
They're 79 cents. Now, if everybody shows up at once for the little Frosties, how much am I going to pay for that Frosty?
But I don't like this idea. Just to tell you my opinion about this. This is stupid. Now, I will say this. The price you pay at fast food restaurants can vary by location, right? So for instance, if you're in the middle of nowhere, it could cost one price. If you're in the middle of Times Square, it costs higher, right? But
that penalizes people that live in urban areas.
Well, yeah, but that's just how it has been. I mean, that's not too insane to think. But they're just talking about surge pricing during the times when people often eat. So it's cheaper during 2 to 4, but it's more expensive from 11 to 2 when lunch is happening, right? You know what I thought? The first thing I thought when I saw this is, okay, so the people that pay more are going to get the fresh burger, and then the people that do it, from 2 to 4 are going to get whatever didn't sell during the surge pricing. Is the quality going to be the same? I don't know. But I just think that if I go to the Wendy's down the street from my house and I go, off peak hours and it's a good deal and I have that price in my mind, and then I go during peak hours and it's more than that, I'm going to think I'm going to get ripped off. And if you see enough videos of people losing their crap in the drive-thru at these poor workers, just imagine asking someone for $3 more for a meal they paid, less for a couple of hours ago. I just don't think that it's necessary. Wendy's, by the way, is the most expensive fast food chain in the United States. Menu costs rose 35% between 2022, 2023. They say inflation. Franchise owners contend that dynamic pricing is more about helping with scheduling and easing the burden on kitchen staff during peak hours as opposed to maximizing profits. That sounds like a scheduling problem to me. That doesn't sound like a customer needs to pay more problem to me. Obviously, you're going to be busier at lunchtime. Schedule people more. When I used to work at Tony Roma's as a server, it would be a staggered shift, right? So there would be one server that would come in, let's say at 2:00, and then two more at 3. And then by the time 5:00 hit, it was a full staff because we knew, shocking, most people are going to start coming in for dinner. That's common sense. Wendy's is trying to fool us, in my opinion, with this whole, dynamic pricing. It's just, no, you just schedule people during the lunch rush and the dinner rush. And there you go. That's how you save money. And then fewer people in between, and don't make me pay more. I want to know if this is on the $2 menu, it's going to be $2. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less.
Yeah. It doesn't seem, I know things change and I know restaurants struggle and I want people to stay in business, but this just seems a little.
I want to see that. And I know that these are franchises, so you can't look at Wendy's profits to understand completely the whole situation. But please, Wendy's is hella expensive. If you're going to have a burger, I would go somewhere else. I go to not saying it's a bad burger. I don't really go to Wendy's that much. And if I do go to Wendy's, I usually get their nuggets. Like they have and that's the most economical, I would imagine, thing on their menu. I get a couple nuggets, the spicy ones. I eat them in the car. And I can't even remember the last time I've been to a Wendy's. But I do know that that's what I normally get. But you can't mess with people's understanding of how much things cost when they go to a place. People like consistency. That's why they have things like the dollar menu, right? I know if I go to my favorite fast food, Taco Bell, this costs that costs that. I don't want to keep going in and be like, oh, what time is it? We have to wait to this time to go to Wendy's. That's nonsense. And it's a stupid idea. It's just a stupid idea.
PG&E already has me waiting till a certain time to do laundry. I mean, really.
And I'm still freezing my ass off. I swear to God. And it's going to be cold. If you're in the Bay Area, it's going to be cold on Friday and through the weekend. So our PG&E bills are going to be through the roof.
This is a novel concept. Border Patrol agents are they arrested a man for trying to smuggle $3 million worth of cocaine across the border in a shipment of limes.
Oh, okay.
Put the cocaine and the limes and
shake it all about.
The suspect was trying to cross at the Otay Mesa commercial entry point in San Jose with a big rig full of limes when he was stopped and searched. You're coming in through the border at San Jose. Who doesn't think you're in a giant big rig going to get searched?
Yeah. You should be searched.
Please.
You should be searched.
He's now been turned over to Homeland Security. And I don't know if you heard about this story, but this is a crazy one. This woman who says she just needed a ride to get back to San Jose.
Oh, I heard this. This is so funny.
She allegedly stole an Amazon delivery van to get herself back to San Jose. Police say the 36-year-old woman jumped in an Amazon van when its driver jumped out to deliver a package in Palo Alto. The driver left the van running. It was loaded with packages, which were all accounted for upon her arrest. She was booked on suspicion of felony vehicle theft and committing a felony while out on bail. Clearly, she's had an issue in the past, which is also a felony, by the way, committing a felony while out on bail. Yet another felony. Racking up those felonies like limes and cocaine, lady.
Let me ask you this. Yeah. What if she was trying to make like a court appointment and like her car broke down and she's like, if I don't make this court appointment, I'm going to be like, I'm just joking. You don't obviously steal, but I feel like, this idiot. I have to get to San Jose. Call an Uber. Call a taxi. Call somebody. Don't steal An Amazon van.
Hey, it was running and it was there. It was a crime of opportunity.
That's true.
You know?
That is very, very true. That's funny.
This report is sponsored by you.
It
Which
is.
means we do rely on you to help fund this amazing show that we do every day, the NikkiMadoroShow.com, the NikkiMadoroShow.com, for great conversation and fun and great stories and interesting things. Check us out. It's the NikkiMadoroShow.com, where you'll find the Patreon and the PayPal links, the Super Chat, Super Stickers open here on YouTube. And thank you for your support. I'm Kim McAllister on the Nikki Maduro Show.
Just a side note, just because I was thinking about it last night, and I love all of our subscribers to our podcast and to this show. So please make sure that you are subscribed and hit that bell so you don't miss a moment. I watched this movie last night, if anybody has seen it, called Underdogs. And it's Underdogs with 2 G's because it's about Snoop Dogg being the football coach and he has to do community service for this youth football team. What I didn't know, and I don't know what rock I have been under, but Snoop Dogg does this in real life. Did you know that Snoop Dogg has and he has people on the 49ers that have gone through his football camps, and it's a cheer camp, a football camp, all sorts of camps. But anyways, there's this part in the movie where he's doing this podcast, and he always has a microphone, whether it's in his bathtub or in his car or whatever. He's always podcasting, and he only has 200 subscribers, which I thought was really, really funny. But anyways, Underdogs, it's on, I think, Prime. I think we watched it on last night. It was pretty cute. A lot of cussing. A lot of cussing. A lot of kids cussing, which was also weird. But anyways, it was a funny one. But thank you to everyone that's been here and is here and supports the show. We appreciate you, and we cannot continue doing the show without your support. So thanks.
Speaking of cussing.
Oh.
I was watching a clip, only a clip.
Uh-huh.
And I found it, I think, on a link on CNN of the Joe Rogan podcast where he hosts Kid Rock.
Okay.
I don't know if you saw this, but they're talking about the conflict between Israel and Gaza.
Okay. With Kid Rock?
Yeah.
Okay.
Who should just keep his mouth closed always.
All the time, yes.
But it's the F word every other second.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
And he's like, they should just bomb him into whatever. Israel should just bomb whoever.
Right.
If they came after me and you just, you should say, here's what Kid Rock said. You should say, give me back the hostages. Give them 24 hours, and if they don't, then bomb 30 to 40,000 civilians. Just bomb them.
Louise!
He's, it's like
just
someone
kill innocent people. Just
he's not thinking
them,
at all before he's speaking. It's what is even happening? And Joe Rogan goes, you can't do that, dude. And again, F word every 5 seconds. You can't. It's against the war crimes code to kill civilians. Yeah. Can't do that. And then Joe Rogan becomes the voice of reason in this whole thing. And even my husband, who's standing at the counter making bread, because my little baker,
right?
He's listening. He goes, what are you listening to? Who is that? I'm like, that's Kid Rock and Joe Rogan. He goes, oh my God, Joe Rogan is the voice of reason? I go, that's actually the headline of the CNN article. When Joe Rogan becomes the voice of reason, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, Janet. If you listen to it, your jaw drops and you're like, and they're talking about nuking people. And Joe Rogan
I think I can sound like the voice of reason if I'm going up against Kid Rock. Anybody can. Kid Rock's a moron.
Well, I don't know. I'm surprised Joe Rogan just didn't blanketly agree with him. But
That's true. I mean, also you have to remember that Joe Rogan faces his own. Also faces a lot of backlash for what he just lets slide and what he says. And I am sure there's people in Joe Rogan's ear listen, we cannot have people calling for the carpet bagging of civilians on your show. It's the number one podcast or whatever, right? So
it felt like listening to it, two of the stupidest guys in the back of the classroom that were totally stoned in the back of the van that were trying to have some conversation. And it was
smart.
Who even, what?
Yeah.
No.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. Those are people that were happy don't have the nuclear code. So, you know what I mean? That's why you guys are not president, vice president, or anything like that, because stupid crap. But you know what? That's kind of the stuff that Trump has said. And we've heard, right? Why can't we just bomb them? Why can't we just do this? Why can't we put, remember he was talking about the border and we can't just shoot them? It's literally that's who was in the White House, was somebody kind of like Kid Rock, where he just says things like, why can't we do that? Because you cannot. You cannot. It's insane.
That's why Kid Rock likes Trump so much.
Exactly. Because he talks like him.
And then there's all these people surrounding Trump. They're like, how do we convince him not to do what he's trying to do here?
Right. Exactly.
Does no one think that was dangerous? I mean, forget stealing an election and trying to overthrow democracy.
Yeah.
Does no one think that it was dangerous for him to have the nuclear codes? Because
I think a lot of people did. And they're like, okay, let's just not. Remember, and he wouldn't even read his daily briefings. He was such a moron. I can't believe people want him back into the White House.
You know what I wanted to tell you? I forgot to put this in news. But actually, Sandy makes the point. She went to the Giving Pies over the weekend, bought 10 of those mini pies. They were so good. Did you hear that Tesla came up with the money?
Yeah.
At least not all the money, but they forked over at least what she would have lost.
Right. No, they gave her the money that they were due. Again, you had to. I mean, Matt Mahans, Sam Liccardo, they all went out there this past weekend. There was lines down and around the block in Willow Glen for this pie shop. I mean, kind of genius. I mean, not for them because they got hammed, and they was smart. Go on social media. I was so proud of my hometown. Obviously I did it on Thursday. I had a couple of their mini pies, which were so freaking good. I got the key lime and the apple. Oh, and I'm not a huge apple pie fan, but it was so good. I warmed it up a little bit. It was really, really, but you can eat them cold. I mean, they're so good. And yeah, I'm really happy that the woman and that business, made their money back. Nuclear. I think I said nuclear. Oh, did I say it wrong? I'm sorry, Debbie. But yeah, the pies were so freaking good. So if you are in San Jose, go check them out. I mean, even though they made their money back, they're really, 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 really good. I know, Phineas. But I was supporting a thing, and they're very small. These pies were like, I think they were like that big. So they're not that big. They're like, I mean, maybe 3 or 4 bites, depending on how big your mouth is, of course. I have a pretty big mouth, so there you go. But yeah, I was very, very happy about that news. Kind of keeping it in the food vein and topic, Kellogg's CEO is facing some backlash for what he was saying, suggesting people should eat cereal for dinner in order to save money. I love breakfast for dinner. I think but usually I do that because I'm lazy, right? I'm like, ugh. It's so much easier to just eat cereal, have pancakes, have waffles or something like that. Here's a little report from CNN about it.
Consider the case of the Big Mac. Allison Morrow here at CNN was among those who told the story of Topher Olive. A year ago, Olive went to a McDonald's in Post Falls, Idaho, and ordered a limited edition smoky double quarter pounder BLT with fries and a Sprite. Total cost for this novelty item was $16.10.
It's a novelty item.
Posted the receipt on TikTok. It went viral and keeps being recirculated on TikTok, Reddit, and YouTube. Then a recent YouTube video incorrectly reported that it was a Big Mac meal. And more than 1.7 million viewed that video containing false information as to the price. The narrative became that the cost of a fast food meal was upwards of $16. And by the way, the price of a Big Mac meal on Biden's watch, it has gone up, but not like that.
Right.
The viral story reached the White House Office of Digital Strategy. But as one source told the Washington Post, what are we supposed to do? Tell the president or Chuck Schumer to send a tweet saying, hey, most Big Macs aren't that expensive? It would look ridiculous. I felt obliged to do some field research this week. My Big Mac meal in the Philly burbs, it cost me $10.09 before tax. The White House has struggled to set the record straight, and the perception is impacting even the president's base.
Yep.
Enter the New York Times with this headline: even most Biden voters don't see a thriving economy. The Times noted that a majority of those who backed President Biden in 2020 say today's economy is fair or poor, ordinarily a bad omen for incumbents seeking re-election. Part of the explanation might be due to the loss of COVID-related relief. While inflation has subsided, prices are still high. Groceries, for example, up 25% since the pandemic. The resumption of evictions and student loan payments have led to less disposable income, and credit card debt is now at a record $1 trillion. 57% of Americans say they don't have a spare $1,000 for an emergency. The resulting national funk has had an impact. It's not just that we think things are worse than the data suggests. We're also no longer confident in the American dream. where the dream is defined as getting ahead or doing better than your parents' and grandparents' generation. That's the finding from a Wall Street Journal NORC survey, which included 2 questions. If people work hard, are they likely to get ahead in America? And will your generation do better than the generation before you? Well, the results as to one of those questions, shocking. In 2012, 53% of Americans said the American dream still holds true. And just last year, when the Journal asked a similar question, whether Americans who work hard were likely to get ahead, 68% said yes. In the current poll, that number's down to 36%.
And that's because I feel, not because of inflation. I think it's because when you think of the American dream, what do you think of? A house, right? And I think that the fact that we can't control housing prices in this country at all, is the problem. Now, the reason I wanted to play that is because it is the perception, right? So Kellogg's CEO, Gary Pilnick, advised shoppers to eat cereal instead of, a traditional dinner. The cereal category has always been quite affordable, he says. It tends to be a great destination when consumers are under pressure.
Is that healthy?
No! You cannot have empty calories for dinner every night and think that your kids are going to grow up or you're going to continue to be healthy. Now, cereal here and there, okay. I guess if you're putting some fruit in it and it's not high in sugar and maybe it's like plain Cheerios or something, a balanced meal. But every day for dinner, eating cereal? No, thank you. No, thank you. Now,
I'm going to get a COVID test right now. I just want you to know.
Oh, you're doing a COVID test right now?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Well,
David's
we'll
going to come stick a Q-tip up my nose. I'll let you know.
We'll do that. Okay, so Kellogg's obviously makes cornflakes, Fruit Loops, Frosted Mini Wheats, and Raisin Bran. Has been banking on a breakfast for dinner trend catching on since 2022. That's when it initially launched a campaign to get Americans to add the notoriously sugary meal to their dinner time rotation. They had a tagline, "Give chicken the night off," and argued that aside from its low cost, cereal for dinner is a low prep, low mess option. But social media was not having it. They were saying it's not a good idea to have empty calories. One person said, anything Kellogg can do to make more money off people during a time of crisis. I wonder what their CEO is having for dinner. Good question. Smacking my head, price hiking all day without a care. Shame, shame. Another user said, we live in a world where families have to choose cereal for dinner to save money. Another person on Instagram said, eat the rich instead. Hearing wealthy folks put a marketing spin on poverty is wild. Cereal for breakfast, lunch, or dinner is garbage. Yeah. Learn more about nutrition for your health. And it's true. I mean, I understand wanting to sell cereal if that's your business. But yeah, it's ignoring the fact that people don't want to eat cereal for every single meal. It's like, kind of the college stereotype. I'm eating top ramen. Top ramen's terrible for you. You should not eat top ramen.
Just doing the story yesterday about oats.
Okay.
And what is in certain grains. And there's this story about, I don't have it in front of me, but it's like they tested 80% of oatmeal.
Okay.
Or they tested oatmeal, and in 80% of it, they found this chemical pesticide called chlormequat.
Okay.
And it affects your fertility, and it affects the development of babies, and it affects your reproductive cycle, what have you. It affects puberty as well.
Oh my God.
Yeah. 80%. And it's in Quaker oatmeal, and it's in Cheerios.
Fabulous, how to eat that.
So you want it, right. And they say it only lives in the body for 24 hours. So what it shows is that there's a constant, people are constantly being exposed to it, right? So you would be eating your cereal for breakfast every morning, and that's why it lives in 80% of the people that were tested for it.
Ugh.
It's crazy. So they're saying now if you buy oats, anything with oats, oatmeal, anything with oats in it, that you should buy organic, because at least you'll get, if not none of it, less of it. Right. But so imagine now you're telling everyone to eat all the cereal. And so there's somebody out there who's eating cereal for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and they're like loaded down with a chlormequat.
I've never heard of this. Nature's Path. Hold on. Phineas eats this. Nature's Path, pumpkin seed. Hold on. I want to look at it. Because
I think that's healthy stuff.
Flax and granola. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it, Phineas.
But I don't think that stuff is cheap.
It's $9.29. And what is this? This is a 24.7 ounce bag. Is $9.29. Now, it looks good. It looks, it has 206 per 3/4 cup of the cereal, 260 calories, 10 grams of fat. I would imagine it's the good fat from the seeds and everything like that. 1.5 grams of saturated fat, no cholesterol, 45 milligrams of sodium, which isn't too bad. 37 grams of carbs, which you would understand is in there. 5 grams of fiber. Does have 10 grams of sugar and 9 grams of added sugar. So 6 grams of protein, though. And then that's pretty good iron, 2 milligrams of iron. So, I mean, it's good. Granola in and of itself has a lot of those things. I would hope, Phineas, that when you eat it, you're pretty full after you eat that, because, that's my problem with cereal, is that I eat it and then I'm still hungry. I need to eat something and then I'm not hungry anymore. Katie says the price of Quaker Oats is about to get cheaper, possibly. Steel cut oats are better, according to OCB. I've heard that as well. Get it at Costco, Grady says that Nature's Path. Okay. I mean, I'll look for it. I do like granola, but again, it has to be something that's going to fill me up. I don't eat too many meals. I eat lunch. I don't eat anything before the show. I have coffee. I eat lunch, usually a midday snack, which is maybe a piece of cheese or something like that, and then dinner. I'll maybe have a sweet treat in the evening, but not always. So I'm not eating too much. I want to make sure that the meals that I do eat fill me up. That's pretty much what I want to eat. Eric says, I still remember when eating grape nuts and my son tried some and said, "Dad's cereal poopy." I hate grape nuts. I tried it once. It's like eating gravel. Sorry, that's my anti-commercial for grape nuts. No, thank you. Sandy says, I love oatmeal and also Quaker oatmeal squares. There's so much sugar in those, though, I feel like.
And now we know they're full of pesticides. Sandy,
Exactly.
don't eat that.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Leon says granola's a no-go for me. It's 2-packed with sugar. Yeah, and like I said, I mean, the Nature's Path, it has 10 total sugars. And then wait a minute. Never mind. 10 total sugars. That includes 9 grams of added sugar. So I'm just going to give you the description. It is hold on. The ingredients include whole grain oats, pumpkin seeds, flax, cinnamon, has no GMOs or animal products. Other ingredients include whole grain rolled oats, cane sugar, soy oil, brown rice flour, pumpkin seed, flax seeds, oat syrup solids, whatever the hell that is, sea salt, molasses, that's where the added sugar, cinnamon, and it's all organic. So, I mean, it sounds pretty good. Again, it has to fill me up. Grape nuts are gross. I don't care if it's soggy gravel. I don't want hard gravel or soggy gravel. Grape nuts in my yogurt. I'll put granola in my yogurt. Grape nuts is just not my cup of tea. SJ Lola says a lot of tasty granola had a lot of fat besides sugar, sadly. Yeah, it's just and yeah, JT, you can make your own granola with good ingredients. There's no need for sugar. It's expensive. So again, if it's going to be a meal, it needs to fill me up. Okay, I'm going to do a couple more food stories. KFC has debuted something that I do not believe I will ever be trying. I want you guys to watch this and tell me if you would eat this.
Get me the sauce. All right, now to this. An international delicacy will soon be on the menu here in the U.S. at KFC. Starting Monday, chicken and pizza fans will get to take a bite out of pizza. It's a chicken pizza hybrid that consists of 2 fried chicken fillets covered in marinara sauce, topped with mozzarella cheese and pepperoni. Pizza first debuted on KFC menus in the Philippines in 2015. The fast food chain will also bring back blackberry lemonade, but it's only available for a limited time.
All right. No. I think I have a picture of it, a better picture of it. Here it is.
Huh.
No. I love fried chicken. I do like cheese and pepperoni. I will eat cheese and pepperoni by itself, not melted. Like, bomb. Fine. Together? That just seems like a hard task. We went from trying to make granola healthy to a heart attack in a box. You know what I mean? Like, no, thank you. Anybody going to try this? William, get in my belly.
So
Karen says, I don't think so.
You could argue that chicken is often a vehicle for things, right?
Right.
I mean, think of all the different ways we make chicken. And it kind of looks like chicken, marsala, chicken.
Oh, no, we're not going that
You
far.
could say that it does.
Like chicken parmesan?
Yeah,
Like
chicken parmesan. They have bagels, like they have a pizza bagel, they have an everything bagel. So what's the difference between throwing pizza on your bagel to throwing it on your fried chicken?
Now that you said chicken parmesan, I'm like, okay. Now it's making a little bit more sense to me.
I mean, it doesn't look completely.
The pepperoni kind of throws me
revolting.
off. Yeah, the pepperoni throws it off a little bit. But now that you said chicken parmesan, I'm like,
would
okay.
I order it?
No.
Absolutely not.
No.
First of all, my whole hang up with fast food meat. But second of all, no, because it looks like a heart attack in a box. However, it doesn't look stomach turning.
I feel like it looks messy. Does that make sense? Like it looks like I don't want to. When they used to make, what was it, that burger with the bun was chicken? I forget which fast food restaurant did that. I'm like, I don't want to hold, even though I do hold fried chicken when I eat it, I don't want to eat it like a burger. Like it just seems really messy and possibly greasy. Murphy says, I make a quote unquote pizza chicken on the grill. We grilled skinless, boneless chicken, and then we top it with marinara, mozzarella, and provolone. I would say you're making chicken parmesan on the grill. But I guess if you want to call it pizza, you can. That totally changed my whole view on it. I still don't want to eat it. Yeah, Lori, it just doesn't look good to me. No. And again, I don't like KFC chicken at all. You guys know me. I'm either a crispy, crunchy chicken or a Popeye's chicken girl. Those are the two chickens, if I'm going to do fast food chicken, that I eat. I don't like KFC. I don't pull into KFC. It's definitely not one of the ones. A lot of you don't like chicken parm. I'm not a huge chicken parm person either. I do like a fried chicken cutlet, but I don't need all the sauce and the cheese and whatever, which is really funny. I do love cheese and pepperoni, but I just don't like it all together.
I like a chicken parmesan. Mary's Pizza, which is a chain in the North Bay, they make a really good chicken parmesan, and they serve it with a kind of some noodles that are really good, and they on a bed of noodles. It's very, very good. So, I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Eric says, are the KFC chicken patties as greasy as their normal chicken? I would imagine. I'm imagining that it's in the same thing. So, that's the newest food item from KFC. And then finally, we did Wendy's, we did KFC, we did cereal, and now we're going to do WcDonald's.
Oh, what?
WcDonald's. McDonald's has new menu items, and it might look a little bit different. As you can see, the MC has been turned upside down. The upside down golden arches alludes to how the chain is seen in anime movies and TV shows. McDonald's USA Chief Marketing Officer says anime is a huge part of today's culture, and we love that our fans have been inviting us into the conversation for years. The McDonald's universe is a reflection of what fans have created. It honors their vision and celebrates their creativity. The transformation at some locations, I don't know where they're going to be, started yesterday. It will last through March 18th. Here's another. This is a drawing of what it could possibly look like. Some of the new menu items include savory chili McDonald's sauce meant to be paired with Wick Nuggets. At one McDonald's location, an immersive dining experience will be held. That'll happen on March 9th and 10th in Los Angeles.
I don't understand. Is this just art, or is this really happening? Okay,
so if you play video games or anime and there's a McDonald's in it, that upside down arches is how it's conveyed. So it's not a McDonald's with the M. It's flipped upside down. Maybe it's a kind of copyright type of thing. But yeah, so they're kind of using the popularity of McDonald's in anime movies and video games and art, and they're bringing it to actual restaurants. So yesterday, the race to McDonald's was dropped. It's this short that I don't have available. I apologize. It covers a rivalry strong enough to withstand the test of times as two heroes embark on an epic race to McDonald's. On March 4th, there's love from across the booth. These are, I guess, some shorts that will be on WcDonald's.com. This is on March 4th, 2 protagonists will discover that McDonald's sauce and McNuggets aren't the only perfect pairing. Ooh. And then they have a bunch of other shorts that are going to be dropping. Again, you can find all of it at WcDonald.com. I think it's kind of interesting. It's an interesting marketing ploy. Anybody big in the anime world?
I thought you were gonna say it. They're like, why does my mind go to these places?
What?
Like WcDonald's.
You're not alone. Lori said the exact same thing. Sounds like Mickey D's for Wiccans. That's funny.
Yeah. Okay. That's funny.
Yeah. I mean, my son loves to read the books. I apologize. Anybody that knows, it's these Japanese graphic novels where you read it. The story isn't backwards. The book is backwards, if that makes sense. So you start from the back of the book and read towards the front. And I'm putting this in quotes because that's how traditionally we open up the book. It opens the same way, but you start in the back. So Janet, yeah. So if you're into this is the newest thing. So yeah, the bags are fun, cartoonish, kind of anime looking.
Okay.
I think it's kind of brilliant. You know what I mean? Like you're tapping into a market that may not very manga. Thank you, Eric. That may not really be, enticed to go to McDonald's, but they might be enticed to go to WcDonald's. So, yeah. Thank you very, very much. The novels are called manga. The pages flip from the back. It's the first time I saw Dylan reading one of these books, I was like, "What are you doing?" And every time I go to the library, that's all that I have to force him to get a non-manga book. He's all into the manga.
Wow.
So yeah, I make him do it because there's not a lot of. So it's graphic novels, while fun to read. I want more actual words than pictures if I had to make an argument. But anyway, so yeah, that's the newest thing coming to McDonald's. I think that it's pretty ingenious, if you ask me. Okay, how long until your COVID test is done?
He says I don't have it.
Oh, good. Congratulations.
First of all, when Julia had it, like it showed up the minute the test was
yeah.
like boom.
That's how.
And so he's like 8 minutes to go, and this was like 5 minutes ago, but you don't have it. He goes, you have only a garden variety cold, not the dreaded kofefe. So,
is he trying to tell you to suck it up, Buttercup? Is that what your husband is trying to tell you? Come on now.
Yeah.
Come on now. No.
It's fine. I'm fine. Listen, if this was him, he'd be in bed, and there would be,
Exactly.
he would have a little bell, and I would have to bring him things. No.
There you go. All right. Let's do some more headlines because I got a bunch of different things that I want to do. And I'll decide while Kim is talking because she might actually cover some of these things in her news. Again, you guys click the thumbs up button, show your support for the show. And here's Kim with the latest headlines.
Now, from around the world to up your street, the Nikki Maduro Show presents News Czar Kim McAllister.
Oh, I love being the news czar. Let's talk about the Michigan primary. It is presidential primary day in Michigan, and we talked about this a little bit earlier, but Trump is expected to win in Michigan. Haley, again, vowing to stay in the race, claiming most Americans disapprove of both former President Trump and President Biden. Biden, meanwhile, does not have a major primary challenger in the Democratic contest, but he does face some headwinds in Michigan as Arab American activists in that state are rallying voters, as you said, Nikki, to cast an uncommitted ballot to protest President Biden's handling of the Israel-Hamas war. So we'll see how that works out. Another hearing set for this afternoon now in the Georgia case involving the connection between the relationship between the Fulton County DA and the special prosecutor for former President Trump's election interference case. The former law partner for prosecutor Nathan Wade is being compelled to testify about the romantic relationship and when it began between DA Fonnie Willis and Mr. Wade. Defendants are trying to disqualify Willis from the case that is involved in investigating actions in Georgia's presidential election 4 years ago. We got hope running out now regarding the Virginia couple who disappeared in the Caribbean. Have you heard about these folks? Authorities in Grenada, along with police in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, said yesterday that they believe Ralph Hendry and Kathleen Brandel are likely dead. The couple's family hasn't heard from them since they went missing in Grenada. The 3 escaped convicts are accused of hijacking Ralph and Kathleen's yacht while they were on vacation. Authorities believe those convicts might have killed the couple, maybe just making them jump overboard, and then taking their yacht. The suspects appeared in court Monday. They pleaded guilty to multiple immigration-related counts. So
yeah, I mean, this makes me, who this makes me worry about is our friend Kristen Haynes, who we had on the show. What was that, last month? She and her partner, they sail all over. And this is always one of my biggest thoughts sometimes, because yes, people will giggle. Pirates are real. Like, they exist in the open waters, and they will. And when you're on a boat, where are you going to escape to? It's so scary, and my heart breaks for this couple who probably were just living their dream and now likely dead. It's so sad, and I can't imagine how frightening. Now, I don't want to get all morbid, but can you imagine you ever see, what was it, that movie Deep Water? Like, honestly, if you're gonna make me jump overboard, then just kill me. I hate to say it like that, but I would be so scared to be in the open water by myself. I just, it's just frightening. I can't imagine what this couple went through, and it's so sad. It's just really so sad.
scary. The good news is that I think Kristen's in a different part of the world.
Well, yeah, no, it's just the whole idea, though, of being in the open water. Exactly.
Yeah, kind of a sitting duck out there. Anybody could come and do anything, right?
I mean, if they have guns or a weapon and you're unarmed, like, not that I'm going to ask Kristen this because I don't think she would want to share something like that, but I would hope that she has some sort of weapon. I would hope that if you were going to be on a ship or a boat or whatever the hell you want to call it, you need to have some sort of weapon on you, because people can just pull up next to you, jump on your boat, and do whatever. Yeah. It's crazy. Oh, our poor Kim.
Pardon me? At least we know it's not COVID,
right?
It's
just a cold. Suck it up. No, just kidding.
There could soon be a ceasefire in Gaza.
Yay.
Speaking to reporters yesterday, President Biden said the National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan tells him it's very close, but that it's not done yet. He added that his hope is by next Monday that there will be a ceasefire. Sullivan said Sunday he was hopeful an agreement would take place in the next few days after representatives of Israel, the United States, Egypt, and Qatar met in Paris recently. So we'll see.
I'm really hoping. I mean, I think I don't know of anybody that doesn't hope that a ceasefire doesn't happen sooner rather than later.
Former President Trump appealing the verdict in his New York civil fraud case. Trump's legal team filing a notice of appeal in the judgment, finding him liable for fraudulently inflating his net worth on financial statements. The judge in the case recently ordered Trump to pay more than $450 million in fines and barred the former president for 3 years from running a business in New York. Trump has denied any wrongdoing and says the case is politically motivated.
Of course he does.
A new survey is finding where women in the United States can find the best opportunities.
Oh, please tell me.
Wallet Hub compared the 50 states and Washington, D.C. across 25 key indicators of living standards for women, including median earnings for female workers, women's health care, women's homicide rate as well.
Ooh, okay.
The top performing states were generally in the Northeast, with Massachusetts taking the top spot, followed by Washington, D.C. Interesting. Nice. Minnesota, number 3, Vermont, Maine, Maryland, New York, Hawaii, New Jersey, Delaware. The worst states for women, according to the survey, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama. There's a surprise. Texas.
Red states. Red states are no good for women,
Arkansas,
basically.
And West Virginia.
I mean, come on. Do you see a parallel here? It's crazy.
Macy's plans to close 150 stores by 2026.
I mean, again, when's the last time you went to Macy's?
I love Macy's.
When is the last time you went to Macy's?
Good sales at Macy's.
When is the last time?
We went to Macy's to look for homecoming dresses.
Did you get it there, though? You bought it online. You bought your dresses online.
But I did pop in to take a look.
That doesn't help her bottom line there, Kim McAllister.
I bought my dishes. I bought my dishes last year at Macy's online.
Okay.
My
That's pretty
Fiesta wear.
good. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, salsa. I like Macy's, but every time I go, it's either too expensive for what I want to buy, right?
Right.
Or I can't, or it's there seems to be such a range in quality of store and items, right?
Yeah.
So if I go to Valley Fair's Macy's, fabulous. If I go to Oak Ridge Macy's, it's like a ghost town, right? It's like not this, and that's just the last time. I can't even remember the last time I actually went to a Macy's.
Yeah.
But
Different
the
Macy's have
experience
different
isn't-
things.
Yeah, the
It's like
experience wasn't the same.
They know why people go there. So maybe
Right.
in one Macy's, there's, no kids section.
Right.
Because they know
No
older people go to that
juniors,
Macy's,
yeah.
right? In another Macy's, there's different departments that maybe they sell a lot of purses there. So they buff up the purses department. I don't know. They're good at that.
It's funny. I was on Facebook, and it sometimes I forget that I'm under my page name versus my personal page.
Mhm.
And I was on this news site. It's a news site that I used to work for. Okay. And they're talking about how Express. You ever go to Express? I used to love Express, the
God, I
Express
haven't
store.
been there since high school.
But me too. I used to love shopping there. Maybe a little bit older, but like a young adult. And anyways, they're closing a bunch of stores. And so this woman, and I read the article, which I know for some people is mind-blowing to do. So I read the article, and it says that Express is closing a number of stores. I think they're filing for bankruptcy because nobody was shopping there. They were losing money. That is the entirety of the whole entire thing. They were losing money. They were going into bankruptcy, blah, 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 blah. This woman posts in the comments that, all about crime. This is crime because of California, blah, blah, blah. And all I wrote was, the article mentions nothing about crime. When's the last time you went into an Express? I said, people don't go into an Express. The store loses money. They go into bankruptcy. They close stores. It's pretty simple. And so she starts all caps yelling at me. I live in California. That's my hometown. I know what's going on there. It's the crime. And I go, so do I, biatch. I was like, I didn't say that though.
Yeah.
I was like, so do I. I'm like, it's my hometown as too. I am just pointing out that if you read the article, nothing is mentioned about crime. You can make a crime story about anything if you want to, especially if you don't read the article. But that's not what it was about. You have to go into these stores. People are like, oh, California is going to hell in a handbasket. They're closing the Macy's. I will always ask, when is the last time you went? How often did you go? That's a gigantic store.
Yeah.
Yes, it may have been a mainstay. So was Woolworths, right? So were a lot of stores that people never thought were going to go away.
Yep.
If you don't shop there, don't be surprised they don't exist anymore. I mean, come on, Mervyn's, Kmart. People are mentioning, Kmart, I feel like they've come back a little bit. Toys R Us, right? Remember when Toys R Us went away, even though now they're popping up like as little pop-ups in stores? Even that isn't happening. Ellen says, I was in Macy's Valley Fair yesterday. Sales so low, it was shocking. Are they closing? I was there at noon. Few people are there. I mean, noon yesterday in a mall, I would say it's not peak time. No surge pricing at Macy's at noon on a work day. Kmart's are going away. Things are going away. Things are changing because people's shopping habits are changing. It has not always to do with crime. Okay, so this isn't In and Out on Hagenberger. Okay, this is people's shopping habits don't include Macy's as much anymore. That's it. Yeah, JCPenney, I don't understand.
I don't either.
I mean, I think they. I can't remember the last. I'll walk through JCPenney sometimes, just if I'm wanting to get my steps in. I guess I can't remember the last time I bought something at JCPenney. No.
No,
me
me
I can't even
neither.
remember the last time I really went clothes shopping for myself. In all honesty, I hate shopping, so I'm not one of those
Anyway,
people.
CEO Tony Spring made the announcement today saying Macy's is entering a bold new chapter.
Right, closing.
50 stores will shutter by the end of this year as the company changes its focus to keep up with consumers' changing shopping habits.
Yes.
So Macy's will now look more toward its Bloomingdale's and Blue Mercury luxury brands, with plans to open smaller versions of those stores. The iconic department store chain that's been around for more than 150 years has closed almost 300 stores since its stock price hit its peak in 2015.
Yeah. I mean, it's sad to say, and Sandy had an update on that. Go to Valley Fair on the weekend. It is packed. And that is true. I shop at the
Really?
Macy's more than any other store. I love Macy's Valley Fair. Yeah. Valley Fair is you want to counter any, the business is not booming story. Go to Valley Fair. Just go to Valley Fair. It's it's insane. Yeah. It's insane.
They're doing something right, huh?
Yep, exactly.
Universal Music Group, more songs being removed from TikTok as a standoff over royalties between the social media platform and the Universal Music Group continues. Universal's begun to remove songs published by the company from the TikTok platform. This comes after Universal removed songs it owned from TikTok earlier this month. A Universal Music Publishing Group's roster of songwriters includes superstars like Adele, Justin Bieber, Harry Styles, The Weeknd, and Taylor Swift. In an open letter written by the head of Universal Music Group last month, he claimed TikTok proposed paying the label's artists and songwriters a fraction of the rate of social media platforms that they pay. The videos that use any of the affected songs either have to be removed or muted.
Yeah, I've
So
seen
if you wonder why you can't turn the sound on, that's why.
Exactly. Like sometimes you'll see it and somebody's talking, but there might be music in the background. Now you can't hear anything. That's why. Yeah.
So just so y'all know. I don't know if you heard about this story. Kind of sad for us here in the North Bay. Oops, let me get that one off. But there's a new woman who is now the oldest living person in the United States.
Okay.
This Houston woman is now officially the oldest living person in the United States. The database that tracks human longevity announced over the weekend that Elizabeth Francis now holds the record at 114 years and 217 days. Francis was born in Louisiana in 1909. She became the nation's oldest person after the death of a 116-year-old California woman earlier this month. That's Edie Ceccarelli from the town of Willits, and she was 116 years old, and I think 17 days. She just turned 116. Can you imagine being alive that long?
No. Can you imagine how much the world has changed while you've been 19? What was the other one? 1909. I mean, the things that you've lived through, and honestly, think about that. Think about being alive in 1909. Everything, the wars, the Depression, and then ending your life like with Trump. Like I would just be like, I'm out. Things start repeating. Wait a minute. The woman on the right.
The one in the hat. That's Edie Ceccarelli. She
that's
just
the one that passed
died
away.
in her
She
sleep
looks good.
over the weekend. She looked great.
Oh my gosh. I hope to look like her if I'm not. Now, 114, 116. I'm just going to say it. Unless I look that good and I have all my faculties and I'm able to move, pass.
That was Edie. The whole town of Willits threw her a parade for her birthday on February 5th. The whole town came out. Right.
Yeah,
and then she died just a few days later in her sleep.
Janet, I agree with you. I don't want to live that long. You know why? Okay. There's one pure reason why I don't want to live that long. Because my friends aren't living that long. I can't imagine. No. New friends, young friends.
Great grandkids. Imagine you've outlived all your siblings.
Nobody wants to hang out with me. Nobody wants to hang out with me.
At this point, you probably have outlived your kids too.
Possibly.
Right?
I don't want to see any more people die. I'm like, when's it my turn? I mean, imagine waking up every morning. You know what it's like when you're pregnant and you're just waiting to go into labor because you're done. Like, I do feel like it could be a little bit like that. It's like, all right already. You know what I mean? Like, I got it. I've seen the sun go up. I've seen the sun come down. I've seen life. I've seen grandkids. I've seen the miracles of so many different things. Now I want to know what's next. I believe in, life after death. So I would want to see what's next. After a certain point, life on earth repeats. Like the nonsense, the bickering. I can't imagine dealing with politics. And I'm sorry. I just feel like there is definitely, and maybe I'll feel differently as I get closer. Like, nah, I could wait. But right now, I don't know if I want to live that long. At this point, I don't want to.
Yeah. Our condolences to the massive family of Edie Ceccarelli. Again,
Yeah.
116 years and 17 days. And I guess congratulations to this woman in Houston.
Yeah, happy birthday or whatever.
Who's now the oldest person living in the United States, Elizabeth Francis.
Yeah, John says as soon as I can't wipe my own butt, I'm ready to hit the eject button. I hear you. I need to have my faculties. I agree with you, John. I don't want anyone wiping my own butt. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be dependent on somebody for something as personal as that.
Well, Francis calls her long life a blessing from God. So she's happy that she's alive, that she's
well,
kicking.
Of course. What do you expect her to say? I mean, really, how would it look if like the oldest person alive went on television and they're like, so how do you feel? And you're like, I'm friggin' done. I mean, I don't feel like that's the message that they're being, urged to give people. Lulu says, my mother was 91. She had no friends left. It was sad for her. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I don't know. Yes, family will visit grandparents, but everyone has their own lives. Everyone has their own life. Unless there was something I truly wanted to do. I would be like 114 and be like, let's go skydiving. Let's do something. And what's the worst that can happen? Kind of thing.
I mean, I've already outlived everything. If I die I'd be more interesting to die in a skydiving accident than in my sleep, right?
It's just come on. But anyway, God bless them. Honestly, I wish everybody that's that age and above the best. But again, that's a long life.
Did you hear this story about Taylor Swift's dad?
Yes, go dad.
A photographer says he was assaulted by Taylor Swift's father in Australia. Ben McDonald told police that Scott Swift hit him in the face on a Sydney wharf earlier. It allegedly happened as the pop star and her father were getting off of a yacht. A spokesperson for Swift says two people were aggressively pushing toward the star.
Yeah.
And also the staff, because what I read was that they were so aggressive and they're trying to get pictures of her that they almost pushed the security staff into the water.
Oh, wow.
The photographer says he had already gotten back in a car when Swift's father charged him in and smacked him. Also not what I had heard as well. They tried to put umbrellas over Taylor Swift to keep her from being photographed. And these photographers were really aggressive. By the way, this person, McDonald, was also called out or facing charges for aggressively taking pictures of Nicole Kidman.
Yeah, I saw that. This isn't the first time. Paparazzi laws need to be tightened. I understand wanting the picture, but it's insane to me that just because you're a celebrity and a star, that you can't escape harassment. I consider a lot of the paparazzi harassment. There should be a distance. Now, again, if you want to have the telephonic lens or whatever you call it, the lens where you could stand across the street and take up close pictures, fine. But at least I have my physical personal space. But to be right up on me the minute I step out of a building, you're 5 feet in front of me, walking every step. Not only is that annoying, but imagine how psychologically damaging it is for these stars. It's insane. That's not okay. And they should be tightened. We do not have a constitutional right to know every step and breath of celebrities just because we like their music. It's ridiculous. And I don't know why laws haven't been strengthened. Now, I understand the no assumption of privacy, you're on public property and what have you. But if it's kind of like, siblings where like one sibling is keeping their finger like an inch from the other person's face, like, I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. That's how I feel paparazzi are with stars. It's like, I'm not touching you. I'm not in your space. You're literally in my space and up in my face all of the time. Get the hell away from me. I would never be able to be a celebrity.
So I understand that when you're someone of Taylor Swift's stature, and I don't think even she knew that it was going to go like this, right? That she's just there's a frenzy after her everywhere she goes. And I get that she gets the money and she gets the billions and she gets all the good things that come with that, right? That you want, or I don't know.
Right. She's like one of the richest people alive. Yes.
Right. This is what she wanted. The success that she's reached a level of success. And with that comes this, right? So I get that. And her family knows that as well. But when your safety is threatened, and if you're a dad and she's constantly threatened, imagine the threats. The guy arrested out in front of her.
Stalker,
The stalker's been arrested. So she's constantly under threat. She always has to have security around. But when you see photographers And you know what happened to Princess Diana.
Exactly.
When you see photographers being that aggressive to the point where they could do her physical harm or the people around her and maybe shove her in the water, or it could end in a bad situation, I don't think you can fault the dad for coming to her aid.
No, exactly.
If I was the dad, I would be. If my dad did that for me, I would be like, oh my gosh, look at that love.
Yeah, but I wouldn't want my dad to get in trouble for it either. And I wouldn't want my dad putting himself in any sort of risk. And again, these paparazzi, the laws need to be strengthened to protect people. Because honestly, sometimes, and we've seen it. I mean, Taylor Swift's been a celebrity for a very long time. But all of a sudden, you're on a show or you're in a movie and you were a no one yesterday. And today you're somebody. The change in your reality, in the invasion of your privacy, of your relationships. Like, I wish they would just leave Taylor Swift alone. The whole Travis Kelce thing, like, let people be, but they can't. And there has to be a consequence to that. I'm not playing a tiny violin for very rich celebrities. I'm not. But they're also human beings. And when we forget that these are human beings, lives, people that deserve to have at least some sanity in their lives as a basic human right. I mean, there just should be some empathy for that, even if they are rich and they are celebrities. Is that the paparazzi guy?
Yeah, that's the paparazzi
I
guy.
can't imagine that being my life. Can you imagine that's your job, is to wait and take pictures and be in the face of celebrities every day? I know the payday has to be good to do it, but get a different job, man. Get a different job.
He says, it was just a punch to the chops, a little tender, but I don't have any bruising and it didn't require medical assistance. He said, in 23 years, I haven't been assaulted and punched in the chops, particularly by the talent's dad. He claims he didn't go rushing down to the jetty. We didn't go rushing to the back of the boat. We waited for her to come up, kept it very civil. Doubtful.
Yeah,
Highly doubtful.
They want their shot.
Taylor Swift's dad has to deal with this stuff every day.
Yeah.
If he punched you in the face, I'm saying there's probably a good reason. He doesn't have a history of this kind of thing.
Exactly.
So, and you do, McDonald, right? I mean, Nicole Kidman was trying to get the police to get you out of her front yard. You're aggressive and awful.
Exactly.
So you have a history of being this kind of person. I'm sorry, but no.
I feel like, we just should care about how people are treated. And I understand. And these magazines are, they have a role in this. We have a role in this. If you buy these magazines that pay these paparazzis for these shots, you're part of it. You're part of. And I'm not trying to make people lose business or their jobs or what have you. But really, do we need to follow every breath of a celebrity relationship? I don't feel like my life would be incomplete if I didn't know what Travis and Taylor were doing today. You know what I mean? Like, there isn't a desire by the public. Celebrity rags, they feed us this nonsense because, well, it's fun to talk about, but they feed it to us as if we need it. We don't need it. We don't need it at all. It's unnecessary, and it leads to stuff like this, which is stupid. It really is.
Yeah, ridiculous. Well, this report is sponsored by you.
It is.
Thank you for keeping us going here on the Nikki Maduro Show. Find us at thenikkimaduroshow.com. The Patreon, the PayPal links are there. The super chats and super stickers are open here on the Nikki Maduro Show. And I have to thank Jess Martinez, who says, get better, Kim. Thinking of you with the $5 super sticker. Jess, thank you for that. I appreciate your sentiment and the contribution to the show. And thank you to everyone who is supporting the Nikki Maduro Show. I'm Kim McAllister on the Nikki Maduro Show.
All right, we have time for a couple of stories. Speaking, and I'm gonna do this story since we were talking about pictures, people taking pictures. This woman wins the Dumbass Award. Today's Dumbass Award. I decided to just create it just for this woman. Here she is. This woman's a dumbass.
Is she throwing a Christmas tree?
She is. She actually won. Look at her. She won this award. It's for the Christmas tree throwing contest. And there she is.
What is this, a Scottish competition?
Yeah, it's in Ireland, actually. Yes.
Oh, okay. Like log throwing. Got it.
Something like that. Her name is Kamila Grabska. She's 36 years old. She had claimed that because of injuries she suffered in a car crash, she couldn't work. She sued an insurance company, said injuries to her back and neck meant she was unable to work for more than 5 years or play with her children. She claimed she was left with a disabling condition after a car she was traveling in was hit from behind back in 2017. But as you can see from this photo,
She's fine.
the woman's claim was thrown out after this photo came to light. This came actually a year after the accident. So she's claiming she couldn't work for 5 years. But she was in this photo, she's throwing a 5-foot tree at a charity event. The picture was published in the national newspaper. Grabska argued she was still suffering from her injuries, but the judge dismissed her claim in part due to the graphic nature of this image. The judge said it's a very large natural Christmas tree, and it's being thrown by her in a very agile movement.
Mm-hmm.
I'm afraid I cannot but conclude the claims were entirely exaggerated of her pain. On that basis, I dismiss the claim. Now, Grabska claimed she could no longer lift a heavy bag without suffering a shooting pain. She quit her job, received disability payments. The legal claim against the insurance company was for the loss of past and future earnings.
Oh, my God.
Grabska saying she was unable to leave her bed for up to half a day at times. She denied faking her injuries and told the court she was trying to live a normal life and had still been in pain despite looking happy in the photograph. The court also saw a video of Grabska training her dog in a park for more than an hour, in addition to these tree contest pictures. Hey, lady, if you're suing for injuries, don't throw trees. It's not like you needed to do this.
I love that picture. I mean, she's joyfully chucking that tree. That does not look like someone who is painfully picking up a bag. Look at her.
Not only that, she won. like, not only did you, like, I could argue, it was, let's just make up a story. It was for my kid's school. It was a charity. I wanted to do something for my kid. My kid's been seeing me in pain all the time. I kind of tossed it. No, you won the tree tossing it wasn't a bean bag. You were playing cornhole.
It wasn't that you just kind of tried to shift it. If you're that debilitated that you have to be, get money and sit at home in a neck brace, then no.
It's
caught
so
scamming the system.
Yeah, I mean, people are exactly. People are so dumb. Karen says, I worked for Fireman's Fund in the claims department. I heard lots of stories like this. That's a job, right? Like, to be one of those people that has to spy on people to see if they're lying about insurance claims. That is a job. And that's a hard one because you got to stake out like the paparazzi that we were just talking about.
Yeah.
Randy says, so I guess throwing the Christmas tree was during the half of her day when she wasn't in bed. Exactly.
I was having a good day.
This was my one good day. And I decided, you know what? I feel like I could just throw a tree.
This seems like an urban legend, Katie. Sometime in the 60s, a woman sued San Francisco claiming a cable car accident turned her into a nymphomaniac. Never heard of that.
Where is the line that's drawn between cable cars and sex? Phineas said she should marry George Santos. Exactly. What a scam clown. Yeah, absolutely. She's just a dumbass. I mean, she's just really stupid. And again, if I was going to scam insurance companies, you just have to keep up. You have to keep up the con. You can't give in. And you can't, I mean, okay, I'll even say this. If you're going to scam the insurance companies, fine. But when you're in public, at least act the part. And what is the need to participate in the tree throwing contest? Like, why did you have to do that? I can imagine I'm dragging my Christmas tree after Christmas. Like, the tree has to get out of my house at some point, right? There's nobody here to help me. I have to do it. It sucked.
Well,
okay, I can maybe buy it, but not this.
It's been 5 years, so maybe she thought they stopped paying attention to her.
Never. They will never stop.
And if your photo and your name appears in a national newspaper,
right?
Come on.
Exactly. Oh, here's Eric with the Nympho cable car accident. It's possible if you're in a crash and have a brain injury that it can affect you like that, but there's got to be some brain scans and solid proof. So what do you have to do during the brain scans to prove that your sexy time brain impulse is being triggered? I don't know, man. Yeah, it's dumbass of the day would be a great segment. Okay, we'll start it. There's my dumbass of the day. I'll have to come up with a cartoon, maybe with a donkey sound or something.
It can be a new segment.
There you go. I don't think we'll be at a loss of finding dumbass.
It is true. There is the story of Gloria Sykes, the San Francisco cable car nymphomaniac.
Oh, that is so funny.
Uh-huh.
Do you have a picture of her?
She went headfirst into a pole.
Ooh.
Turning her ordinary brain, this is from SF Gate, into a mind obsessed with doing the deed. So Gloria took her case to the court, sued the city of San Francisco. She won, taking home $50,000. But apparently, Gloria's suffering was much grimmer than what she was reduced to. I guess she really was debilitated.
Well, I mean, I would say that if you're a nymphomaniac, and that is a true thing, right? So you're obsessed with having sex. I mean, that's the definition, right? You just want to constantly have sex. I would say that have to get in my way. I mean, think about it. And I don't know if this is true for this woman, but you're at work and you see Gary over by the water cooler. You know what I mean? And you grab him by the tie and you lead him into the, janitor's closet. I don't know. I'm exaggerating right now, but that has to suck. It has to be debilitating, I would say.
I'll post a link to the story, but apparently several doctors and psychiatrists who treated her said she showed signs of traumatic neurosis after the accident, what today we would call post-traumatic stress disorder.
Okay.
She was constantly under medical supervision for heart ailments, kidney infections, asthma, other troubles. It's unclear how many were psychosomatic, maybe all, due to this head injury that she suffered from a runaway cable car.
Okay, so explain. So the cable car was running away, and so then she hit her head on the pole. Is that how it happened?
Let's see. This was a runaway cable car rolled downhill toward the bay.
Okay.
An automatic locking mechanism was triggered, violently jolting the car to a stop.
Okay, so she was on the train. Okay.
Passengers slammed into seats and tumbled out onto the street. It felt like we had hit an embankment, Gloria said. I don't remember anything like it. I put a dent in a steel pole. She, along with 8 others, were taken to the hospital. She was treated for a head injury and released. She said, I was the only one who was calm during it all. But afterwards, I went into hysterics.
Oh, I can only imagine. Wow. Well, that sounds quite violent. That sounds quite, God, painful as well. Can you imagine putting a dent in a metal
put the
pole?
link if you're interested. I never heard that story.
I never heard that story either, but a bunch of you already knew that. That's crazy. Yeah. I mean, in that case, now, how do you prove nymphomania, though? I mean, that seems quite specific. I can understand post-traumatic stress, headaches. Being a nympho, though, I mean, that's what kind of piques my
interest.
According to this
article, she would walk by people on the street. All it took was making eye contact, and she would be like, you and me.
Can you imagine?
In 2015,
Can you imagine?
She became the subject of a racy, uproarious musical called The Cable Car Nymphomaniac.
Oh my God.
Yeah. As Gloria herself, no one has heard from her publicly since 2007. She's faded out of sight, which she so desperately wanted half a century ago. She said, my hurt is so deep. I just want to go into oblivion where no one knows who I am.
Yeah, I mean, that is really sad. Yeah, and Lori says, think of a boy entering puberty and can't control his erections. Yeah, and the last thing he wants is that to happen, and probably the last thing she wants. Can you imagine? And now you can't even enjoy sex, right? You can't even enjoy it because of this. Oh, my heart goes out to her. That is a pretty sad story. I thought it was going to be a little funnier, but that sucks. I would not want that to be my reality whatsoever. So,
no,
Gloria, wherever you are, I hope that you're happy and able to
Absolutely.
control all that emotion.
And honestly, $50,000 doesn't seem like enough.
No, it doesn't seem like enough at all. I mean, pain and suffering.
Give her more.
Yeah, well, and it's a lifetime problem.
Yeah.
So this should, definitely a lot more money. Jeez Louise. All right, that's our show. Tomorrow's Wednesday already. I feel like this week is kind of flying by a bit. Chip Franklin should be joining us. I will check in with him. We'll talk all things fun, politics. Again, you can find him at chipfranklin.com. I'll come up with another dumbass. There's already one in the can. I swear there's dumbasses everywhere you look. So we'll continue
they're
that.
not hard to find. Yeah.
Oh, they're not hard to find.
She was particularly a good one. Yeah.
She was really good. Again, Jess, thank you so much for donating to our super chat, the $5. You guys can donate to the super chat even during the replay, which I know many of you watch, although I love the people that are here live each and every day. Please, you guys, this is 100% crowdfunded. We cannot continue doing the show without you. So if you like turning on YouTube and seeing the Nikki Maduro show, sign up on our Patreon. thenikkimodoroshow.com. The Patreon link is there. You can also donate to the show through PayPal and just hit send at paypal.com and put in the email thenikkimodoroshow@gmail.com. We love you. We'll see you tomorrow. Stay here for the Mark Thompson Show and the After Party Live. Bye, guys.
Nikki, you're all so awesome. You're sprout like a beautiful blossom. You're also the best. I really can't rest. You're all so awesome.
Wow. Okay.